When you picture absolute top-tier luxury, what pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this world of pure opulence, right? Where anything you want is right there. But what if that same world could also be a roadmap for a sustainable future? Okay, let's dive into how one of the most famous luxury brands on the planet, Jumeirah, is taking on that exact challenge. So our story kicks off at Madinat Jumeirah in Dubai. And you gotta understand, this isn't just another resort. It's this massive modern take on an old Arabian citadel, and it was literally built to be the absolute peak of luxury hospitality. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this place. It's all inspired by old world Arabia with its classic wind towers and winding waterways. The hotel at its heart, Jumeirah Al Qasar, literally translates to the palace. And yeah, it's pretty easy to see why. See, this isn't just about giving you a place to sleep. It's an entire experience, carefully designed to make you feel like you've walked into a fantasy. The whole promise is that you're stepping inside a storybook, a world that's miles away from your everyday life. And the details here, they're just mind-blowing. Get this. You pull up to the entrance and are greeted by 18 life-sized golden horse sculptures. You walk into the lobby and see a crystal chandelier that weighs 5 tons. And then, to get around this massive 40-hectare property, you can just hop on a traditional boat and cruise through almost 4 kilometers of canals. This is beyond luxury. It's luxury on a completely different level. But a level of service and grandeur like this, well, it comes at a price. And it's a price the entire industry is starting to reckon with. So let's pull back that velvet curtain, move from the fantasy for a second, and look at the reality. And that's really the million-dollar question for the whole luxury industry, isn't it? What does it actually take to keep up this kind of perfection day in and day out? And what's the hidden toll on our planet? And that footprint, it's not small. The entire hospitality industry, the very industry that gives us our dream getaways, is a pretty big contributor to global emissions. We're talking about an estimated 8% of the world's total. And then there's the waste. The UN estimates that something like 17% of all the food produced in the world just gets thrown out. And the food service sector, hotels and restaurants, is responsible for more than a quarter of that waste. So, to even begin to fix the problem, Jumeirah had to figure out how big it was. They set this baseline back in 2022, and the numbers are just staggering. Over 300 million kilowatt hours of energy, 4 billion liters of water, and 32,000 metric tons of waste in just 1 year. This was the starting line for their whole sustainability journey. Now, faced with stats like that, Jumeirah didn't just make a few small changes here and there. Nope, they created a whole new strategy, a blueprint for change that's built on 3 solid pillars. It's super clear and simple: planet, people, and governance. So let's take a quick look at what each of these really means. Okay, first up, planet. This is the one you'd expect, right? It's all about the direct environmental impact. Everything from cutting emissions and saving water to actually protecting the local ecosystems where their hotels are. Next is people. And this one is so important because it recognizes that real sustainability has to include social responsibility. It's about their employees, the local communities. It's about creating an inclusive, positive culture for everyone. And finally, governance. You can think of this as the foundation holding the whole thing up. It's about making sure that ethical practices and transparency are hardwired into the business, from the top down to every single supplier. All right, so having a framework is one thing, but how do you take that from a corporate presentation and make it real? Let's check out some seriously cool examples of how they're putting this strategy into action. This right here is one of Jumeirah's most famous conservation projects, the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project. And this isn't some new PR stunt. They've been doing this since way back in 2004. And the impact has been huge. So far, they've rescued, rehabbed, and released over 2,100 sea turtles back into the Arabian Gulf. That is a powerful, hands-on example of that planet pillar really coming to life. And what's so great is that they've made it something the whole community can be a part of. They set up this hotline, 800 Turtle, so that anyone, anywhere in the UAE, can report a turtle that's in trouble. It gets everyone involved. Jumeirah is also using some pretty cool tech to fight that massive food waste problem we talked about earlier. They're using an AI system called Winnow that literally watches and tracks what food is getting thrown away. That data lets the chefs tweak their menus and order smarter, saving thousands of meals from the bin. They're also going after the huge problem of single-use plastics. A lot of their hotels now have their very own on-site water bottling plants. They filter their own water and put it in these beautiful, reusable glass bottles. Just think about that for a second. This one change is on track to eliminate up to 9 million plastic bottles every single year. So, what all this action really starts to do is change the very definition of luxury. The thinking is that it's not just about endless opulence anymore. It's about being able to enjoy that opulence with a totally clear conscience. This side-by-side really says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you have the classic picture of luxury. On the other, you have a new symbol of it. The whole point is that these two pictures aren't fighting each other. They actually belong together. The idea is that today, true luxury can and absolutely should include sustainability. And looking to the future, they've set some seriously ambitious goals. By 2030, they're aiming for huge cuts in emissions, water use, and waste. At the same time, they're committing to a nearly 100% responsible supply chain and big moves in gender equity for their leadership. These are real, measurable targets that prove this is a long-term thing. Which brings us to the final thought here. When you add it all up, the turtles, the AI in the kitchens, ditching all that plastic, you just have to ask the question you see on the screen. Is this the new standard for luxury? Is a brand's real, proven commitment to protecting the very paradise it's selling, is that now the ultimate sign of a 5-star experience? It's a pretty powerful question, and the answer could really change the way we all travel.